Love.
Show love, baby.
Far and wide. Welcome.
Shh.
Welcome to Claim Your Power Hour. I think we're going to go an hour today. I'm feeling an hour.
You're feeling an hour?
Yeah, I did a podcast today with David Rude for the Taya Practice podcast, and the
Yep.
hour went just like that.
I'm all about it. Let's rock and
see if
roll.
we can match that energy. And I have to tell you, there's some new features here on StreamYard. All this music. Have you seen all this? All this. We can have background music now for our live videos.
Ooh.
It only lasts for a couple of minutes. I think it's supposed to be for an intro. Welcome to Claim Your Power
With David and Debbie.
I think we're both in a silly mood, and I have to tell you, my silly mood.
Your silly mood.
So Michael last year he went through all this dental stuff. He got his whole mouth redone. I've been doing that this year. I'm almost at the end of getting like everything redone in my mouth, and that's why my teeth are so freakishly white, because I've had them whitened.
Let me see. Oh, you're pretty.
Yeah. So I had told him that next I wanted to redo Lola's mouth. Lola's my French bulldog. And he's never had a dog as an adult. He's never had a dog as an adult. He had a dog when he was a kid. I'm going to turn the music down. He had a dog when he was a child. So he doesn't really know what pet ownership is about, other than his knowledge with me and Lola. And of course, now for the last year and a half, we've had Rocco. And so he doesn't know that, dental for dogs isn't really a thing. Because I told him I wanted to get braces for Lola.
Did he bought it?
Yes. He's like, we're not spending money on that. I'm like, yeah, she needs braces. Her teeth are, 7-year-old dog. She needs to have some braces so that her teeth are all nice and straight, because they're not. Her bottom row, her puppy teeth never came out. And so she's got some fugly, bottom row teeth. Everything else is fine. But, you never see this dog's teeth. You never see her teeth. But if you pull her lip down, you can see that they're a little fugly. And so I had been convinced that I was going to have all the puppy teeth pulled, and we were going to get her braces.
Oh, you know.
Souvenirs.
David, Michael, we love you so very much. And Lord,
$10,000 of dental work for, the dog that she needs to look good.
Well, yeah, but who's going to put a dog through that? I mean,
I would never put her through that.
We're not through it. But Michael,
he was buying it.
I love you, Michael.
Well, he doesn't know. He as an adult, he's not had a dog.
Right. Actually,
he told me he was not a dog person until he met Lola, and then he became a dog person, and now he's like crazy dog person.
Okay. Let's talk about
this. Is his world.
Okay, look, David, listen. I had all those cats and stuff, and so the last two went together. And for some reason, I had this vibe, and I'm talking to the girls that took them, and they're really young. It's just their very first apartment, and I'm like, you know what? If you can't keep them, you just bring them back. So they came back.
Oh, all the cats came back?
No, just these two.
Okay.
Oh, the other ones are great. They're fine. It's just the two babies, and I was concerned because it was these young ladies. It was their very first apartment. Joe doesn't like cats. I love cats, but Bella, the baby, she's decided that Joe's it.
Oh, it's her person.
That's her person, man. So good luck not liking these cats. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to keep checking back in. Did the cats have to get a new home? Unless there's somebody listening to the podcast and wants to have two adorable kitties who are about 6 months old and in their terrible stage. Almost knocked over my sound bowl.
So you have the cats, or you don't have the cats?
I have the cats. He doesn't want them. So
I thought the story was going to be a happy ending, that he fell in love with the cats because the cat picked him, and no, it didn't work.
No, we're still having a little debatey-waity about it, about the fact, because I could see about 5 reasons I don't want to have a cat, which is why I got them all homes. But now that they're back, I keep going, there's got to be a reason. They didn't just come back, and they're, quite frankly, the sweetest little things on the planet. They're just darling.
Well, put it out there. Best possible outcome for you and for the cats.
Yes.
Either it will work out that they find a home or not, and best possible outcome.
Let's do that. Let's work out with the best possible outcome. I love how it works for everything. The best possible outcome.
You have a ranch, so, they can be outside cats that...
See, so I'm really afraid about that. And let me tell you why. Well, okay, so we have hawks.
Hawk's got to eat.
Well, you know what? I
I'm in a
don't.
silly mood. Everybody's like, "Who the hell is this that we're watching tonight?" I'm in a silly mood. I'm in a silly mood.
Oh my
But you know, here's
stars!
the thing: if you're really appreciating all that is, and you're appreciating the experience of all beings, I
Yes.
wouldn't want to see anything happen to a cat, especially a little kitten. But it's natural for them to be outside. They're natural predators, and they're natural prey.
I absolutely 100% agree with you. I'm over here. I'm over here. I can't see you right now because I just realized. I Here. I'm just gonna go back to the screen because I'm probably looking all over the place like this. But you can share out to your audience.
Yeah, that's a
When did
new
this
thing
happen?
where
So
all I do is
cool.
flip a little switch when I invite you, and then you can share this anywhere you want to share it. And all of you watching, I believe you can share this as well.
Oh, this just got cooler. StreamYard. I'm
StreamYard,
impressed.
I love StreamYard.
I'm
I've
impressed.
used one time when I first started boot camp and all that, we counted and there was like 32 pieces of software that we used just to run the business, right?
Yeah.
Most of it is a pain in the ass, and most of it is probably, I can tell you from experience, not worth what you pay for. And I don't use that many anymore. StreamYard is one of those things. I'm going to show some gratitude here. StreamYard is one of those companies that truly listens to its users. And StreamYard, I started doing the podcast via StreamYard. And
Mm-hmm.
right away, I said, I need to be able to pause this podcast. I cough all the time. I need to be able to pause so we don't have to edit so much. So if I need to take a pause and talk to my guest, I
Yeah.
can pause it. And it didn't have that. A week later, we asked for it. A week later, probably a million people asked for it. But a
Yeah.
week later, they just added the feature. They're just
Really?
adding stuff all the time. And I'm not saying this to get free StreamYard. And it's not for what we pay for it. We get a lot of value. So I love StreamYard. And you
I
turned
do
me
too.
on to StreamYard years ago.
I did
I think
actually.
when they first came out, you had discovered it and then you told me about it. And I've been on here probably 4 or 5 years now. So
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
it. So we do the podcast on StreamYard. We do. Speaking of podcast, I have to plug the Stream of David podcast. We have been on hiatus for the summer. We've had a episode here and there that we've dropped, but we have not been doing weekly all summer because I
Mm-hmm.
have been summering all summer.
I've been.
And the
I've been.
summering is
I've been
finished,
summering.
almost finished summering. And we are now going back to weekly broadcasts. So we'll have a weekly Stream of David podcast and a weekly Taya Practice podcast. So 2 podcasts out there, the Stream of David and the Taya Practice. Make sure you are subscribed and checking them out. The Stream of David is 200 plus episodes now. And it's an interesting journey of my channeling the stream from the very beginning all the way to 2023, where I don't even trans channel anymore. I've gone
Y-
full circle from
I
nothing
love
but
that.
trans channeling to David and stream to now David is stream.
You know, let's talk about the stream of
Unless I'm in a
consciousness.
shitty mood, then they forsake me and it's just me. Which you'll never see me like that because I'm rarely like that. And I would never show up to a broadcast. I love doing this so much. It takes me right up the spiral. So you'll never see me in a bad mood on a broadcast.
Absolutely. Well, not on the podcast. Actually, I don't know if I've ever seen you in a bad mood.
Probably not. I don't get in a bad mood very often. And it comes and goes very quickly. I will plummet down my spiral for a minute. I'll scream a swear word and then I'm done.
Yeah, I fully understand that.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
a
F
little.
bomb, picks me right back up every time.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah. You
But
get the
that's.
evil out. You purge.
Did
And it
you
might be a
just?
little evil to try to convince your partner that your dog,
Did you?
but it was funny because he just didn't know. He just didn't know. Very smart man. Uh, you know,
Michael's brilliant, actually.
multiple degrees. Very
Uh,
smart man, but just didn't. Like we're not spending money on that. Well, it's not even a thing. I don't think you could. I don't think you could get braces for a dog. I don't think it's a thing.
no, it's nothing.
I know you can have their teeth pulled if they need to be pulled, but I don't think they do braces and veneers and they do cleaning, but I don't think they do whitening.
They do. They. I don't white.
The reason my teeth are so white are not because they're all fake. Some of them are, but not all of them. Because I did an intense 90 minutes of laser whitening,
I've
but they've
done that.
already changed colors a little bit, so I've got to start getting back to it.
I've done that actually. And actually, let's talk about our self-image, our self-care, our body image, our
That's a good thing
doing
to talk about. Yeah,
doing stuff.
our
Okay,
vanity.
you're so
I still
vain.
have some vanity. I mean, I've accepted that
Yep.
I'm old and bald and getting fat and all that stuff, but that's okay. But I put color in my beard. I, invest in my teeth. I
All
go to
right.
the barber and, all that. I like looking a certain way. I don't attach my worth to it, but I also I'm not going to just I did let everything go. Last year I let everything go because I'd put on 30 pounds. I let the beard go snow white, and I look like Santa Claus. And there's video of me out there looking like that, and it's fine.
You looked
And
adorable
I
though.
didn't delete it. It's out there. You can find me looking like
Little
Santa Claus on video.
cute little red nose.
Yeah.
You were adorable, actually. I thought we all go through. I think we just go through these metamorphosis and we change. Well, my current metamorphosis. So my weight's starting to drop after sitting in bed for almost 2 months.
Well, you
And
look
luckily,
great.
and
You
luckily,
were really in bad shape. I know you were in massive pain for a while, but you're
I
really coming back around.
it was bad.
Your glow is back.
Oh God, it was so bad. Plus, the medication for pain and stuff, which I'm not taking anymore, really also all of it, the whole thing. So the thing was, it's like all of a sudden I was putting my clothes on and I'm like, but my weight says these should be fitting me good, but they're not. Well, I'm like, ooh, I'm like mushy.
I've gotten a little soft. I understand that.
And I'm just like,
There's more of me. And then I start losing weight though, and I get overconfident. And then I go to my 2019 closet, and I think I can like wear some of that. It's like a
I
little
know
rude
you're too.
awakening.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
my
too. That
2019 closet is yeah, I still can't get there, but yeah.
his what do they call that V? Freaking his shoulders were like that big. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I was ripped in 2019. I don't know if I'll ever be that ripped again.
Well, David, you know what? I was sitting there yesterday looking at a memory I shared of myself when I was dressed up as a kitten, a kitty cat. Speaking of kitty cats, David, I was like a size 4. I was this big. But it did. Here's the thing. I've been all over the board. I've been 300 pounds. I've been 140 pounds. I've been where I'm at right now.
Well, you want to be healthy and you want to love yourself.
I want to be
And the loving of
strong.
yourself and the loving of yourself and not attaching it to how you look or not looking a commercial version of good looking, there's growth to be had there. So if you're struggling with that, that's just something to work on.
Well, I love that. But let's talk about the vanity because here's something I'm going to tell you what. I see some of these people who are our Gen Xers like us, and they're getting their asses into some serious shape, looking just like I do right now, going into their 60s and 70s looking like hot dog. And I'm over here going, I'd rather eat that hot dog. It's looking
Yeah,
pretty
well, that's
good.
okay. I got all into that in 2019 in my early I was 51 and had just moved to Palm Springs, and Palm
Yeah,
Springs is the land of 70-year-old Adonises. We know that. And
it so is. It's
I
cracking.
I got into that a little bit, and I enjoyed it for a minute. I enjoyed the attention. I'd never gotten attention like that in my life because in my
Right.
20s I was, a nice looking person in my 20s, but I started gaining weight in my 20s. 30s I spent 300 pounds. The
Yeah.
entire decade of my 30s, I was plus or minus almost at or right at 300 pounds. And
In your 30s?
yeah, my
Okay.
30s was all that
Okay.
career focused, workaholic, foodaholic, carbaholic, scotchaholic. That's just what I was in my
Yeah.
30s. Don't regret it. It was a wonderful time for me because it brought me to my 40s,
Right.
which was massively transformational. That's when I started losing weight and getting into shape and working out with a trainer and started meditating. In 2010, I had my Kundalini awakening. Everything changed after that.
Yep.
And really started reprioritizing my life. I got out of the corporate job. I sold the big house and did all that stuff. Got out of the bad relationship and really transformed. And that's really when I created the Taya practice, was in my 40s, because I realized that, okay, I have all these external messages out there, and spirituality and self-help, just like weight loss and all these other things, is just such a big tent There's so many beliefs and so many paths and so many systems that it can get really confusing and even discouraging, because if you flip through like weight loss, this person don't eat carbs, this person, oh, you need to be eating more carbs, you need to be fasting, don't fast, you need to, there's
Yeah.
everyone has a different thing, and it can be very, very frustrating. And I found for me, what always worked is to go inward, to
Hmm.
dial into a vibration of being what I wanted to become. And that the solution, it didn't even matter what the solution was, because it just worked. Everything just fell into place and it just
Yeah.
happened naturally. And so that's where Taya came from. No external things. Everything is going inward and detuning ego, detuning transgressors, allowing more source, allowing more joy, understanding that clarity and abundance flow from there. And that can mean anything. And it will mean better health, and it will mean loving yourself more, and putting something out there that is appealing to people, because you're a joyful being. And you can
Mm.
be a joyful being with or without hair and with extra weight or not.
All of it.
It doesn't matter. None of that stuff's matter. You can be a joyful being or not, regardless of the commercial versions of what that's supposed to be.
I agree. I have a thing about dressing up. I just do. Like when I saw I'm like, I love costumes, and but I want to be strong. And when I play dress up, I want to be able to get in the clothes.
The cat suit.
I want to be able to get in the cat suit. No, I would probably never do that again.
Well, I was going to say, don't all those things, aren't they kind of stretchy? Can't you just?
You
But
know,
some of my clothes from 2019 were stretchy, and they're still not stretching enough. So.
oh my stars. The thing is that I am looking at this as like another fun challenge. You and I both have transformed and transformed and transformed. And if somebody says, "How many awakenings do you have?" I think we have them as often as necessary,
Yeah.
as often as we need to have them. And
Well, the thing, there's no ceiling, right? That's what I
there's
discovered.
no
There's no ceiling to you're not enlightened. You don't cross this path and all of a sudden everything. You're perfect. There's nothing,
what?
because I think if we ever reach that space, we cross over. We're
Well,
done.
yeah,
There's no reason
that's
to be physical anymore.
that's what I was just having this discussion the other day about the fact that that's just no. So, but David, no, this I want to dress up like that. Isn't this adorable?
It is.
Now, and
So
I
you're talking
looked
about
at
Halloween though, not Tuesday night, or
I would
both.
do I would do I
Just a random Tuesday night.
there's a lot of special reasons to want to do that. So I mean I'm last I checked, I think you'd want to dress up as often as possible. No,
Okay.
no, like for real, there's just something really expressive about clothing, about all of it. And I've been chunky monkey, I've been skinny mini, I've been right where I'm at now, which isn't a little chunky, but not nah, could lose a few pounds, but it's not a big deal. But not being strong,
Oh, physically
take
strong.
physically strong, falling on my ass, seeing these men who are our age and older, really taking the like the in stretch home, and really physically getting themselves not just into shape for how they look. It is a benefit though, because it's so much fun to
Yeah. Well,
dress
the
up.
older you get, the healthier you are, the better it's going to go. And I've
Yeah,
seen that. I've
I-
seen people who are really out of shape at the end, and it's not good. Yeah, it's not
it's not, and that's not
good. For
guaranteeing
them, it's not
anything.
good.
No, I'm 55. I slipped mopping the floor and broke my leg. There's no way. Today I went to physical therapy and I did leg presses, the elliptical, and the bike. And it's so painful right now. I've got it up on a bench just going, but I'm absolutely not I'm not afraid of the pain. It's like making this pain is healing me, and it's making me look at things like I'm choosing to psych myself out. I'm healing. I'm healing. I'm getting stronger. I want to see what Lavalette says. I'm older. I work out to be strong, to ride my horse, and the biggest things empty. Empty. You
Yeah,
are
physical. It's a form of meditation for sure, for sure.
I really am just loving this, and thank you for the confirmation because that's what you just gave me. A confirmation to where my heart is leading me, which is to become stronger. I love looking at different periods in my life, David, where I've had these transformations. I love you talking about those different times in life because we can do it again.
Oh
If
yeah.
you know,
Sometimes you fall just for the ride back up, you know. So that's fine.
I love we do. We fall just so that we can have the ride back up. That's literally it. And to judge that externally, I just lately I've been like, life is good. And instead of producing the negative energy or anything around that, I've been doing affirmative action things and all this. I don't know. I feel like I told Joe today, I think I'm sleeping beauty and I've been asleep for a minute. So this is all really important to me about getting healthier and strength and enjoying our life as we are headed to 60.
Yeah.
And
Well,
well,
you know what I've got going on? I have manifested a path to having my back fixed surgically,
yeah.
which I want to do because next year, Michael and I, a year from August, not quite, just a little less than a year now,
Hmm.
we have a massive European trip plan.
Oh,
Massive European trip, and we're going on a yacht style cruise through the Mediterranean. We're going to have several stops, go places that I've never been. Neither of us have ever been before. We'll probably won't go again. We'll see.
yeah,
But it's Mediterranean on a cruise ship, and it's a small cruise ship, so that's the good part because I'm not a big cruise ship person. Less than 200 people, and I want to go sample all these little Mediterranean coastal towns in all these different
yeah.
countries. And of course, to do that, you got to get your butt off the boat and you've got to walk and climb steps and you've got to be able to do all that stuff. So I want to fix my back so that I can walk longer and be in better shape for that so that I can really enjoy it because it's a once in a lifetime type of trip, for us to take. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I've got a year to get my act together to really be able to do that and enjoy it.
I love that. The time that passes in a year.
Oh, it'll come quickly. That's
We
why
have.
I want to get my surgery like this October, so then I can be on my fitness journey, you know, this fall into next year.
I love that. Do you know that as of this weekend, we actually came took over possession of our house 1 year ago.
That went by really fast
It
because
went
it
by,
was just yesterday that you did that. Yeah, that went by really fast.
and Joe and I will be married 2 years in October. I, I thought maybe, oh, it is 2 years. The first year we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I love that you're taking this affirmative action in the next year. The year goes by faster than you can blink your eyes. How
Well,
is it?
and it's the stream says time is speeding up for everybody. That things are just moving faster. The clocks measure it the same, but it just goes faster. I think part of that too for us is as you get older, it does seem to speed up.
Yeah. Anybody else out there notice the time is just the time being just kind of Teresa, you're right. The floor was gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Thank you. Was
All that hard work. So there's a few things that I wanted to talk about.
good.
Um, I've already talked about the podcast. I've talked about the book. So we have the book coming out, and the book is. I think I have a little picture of what the book's going to look like. Ah, there we go.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah, that's the book cover. So the book will be out 11/11/23. So November 11th of this year, the book is publishing. You can pre-order on Amazon. The Kindle version you can pre-order right now on Amazon. And the hardcover will be out that day as well, 11/11/23. So the Tire Practice book, learn all about the Tire Practice. It is something that I've been teaching since 2018. It will absolutely rock your world and change your life. And it's all inner work. It's all going inward, detuning your transgressors, detuning your ego, not eradicating your ego, but calming your ego down. Because you've heard me say this a million times, Debbie,
Yeah. Yes.
that we are beings of source. We are source beings, all of us, expressions of source.
Expressions. Yep.
And my belief is that primarily we are expressions of source. And then we have this thing that we acquire in physical, we call it an ego, that allows us to sort of separate from that energy to have a unique human experience that is not meant to be perfect. So highs and lows, things that we prefer and want to do, and things that we manifest that we need to work through and overcome, and we expand our consciousness in all of that. And a lot of the expansion does come from the unwanted stuff, and we talk about that on here all the time.
Correct.
But I think ego is supposed to be like this much, and then source is supposed to be like this much. But I think in the Matrix, the way our world is set up, the way we've designed it, it's more like this. We've got a lot more ego and a little bit of source. Most of it's being overshadowed with consumerism and being consumed with our appearance and keeping up with the Joneses and how many likes we're getting on TikTok and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so we're not doing away with our ego. We're just detuning it. And sometimes we do it naturally throughout life. One of the things about being in our 50s, and those of you out there that are north of 50 probably know what we're talking about, you do detune your ego throughout life. You do that to make peace with the aging process, first of all, and make peace with all the crap that happens in your life up until that point. Detuning your ego is a fantastic way to experience that. Whether you're into this spirituality stuff that Debbie and I are into or not, detuning your ego just kind of becomes a natural process for a lot of people. Not everyone, but for a lot of people. And when you do it, you become a happier person. You care a lot less about what other people think. You don't worry about being judged. You don't worry about, comparison so much. You're not trying to keep up with some matrix driven expectation anymore. And you end up being a happier person. So this practice is very much like that, where we're detuning ego. We're also detuning transgressors. We're detuning the stuff that drags our vibration down and separates us from our source being, that dims our light. And in doing that, the source version of us, the light, just gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and we become more joyous beings. And then the process of the ups and downs of life, including breaking your leg, including gaining weight, including losing your hair, including your house burning down, all the stuff that we've experienced, it just becomes something that actually expands you in moving through that experience. But you don't have to stick yourself in the experience. That's the key.
You do not have to stick yourself in the experience. And that is the key. And there is a key called Taya, and it's trust your abundance. And believe me, there's so much to be said in this, because the detuning of the ego, the one thing that saves my patootie when I'm in my practice fully is this worth going down my spiral? I think in the past, we were told to choose our battles wisely. This is choose your vibration wisely. This is you get to choose your vibe, your frequency that you want to stay at. You can have anything going on externally and choose not how you want to choose. You can react, you can respond. It's your choice, but is it worth going down your spiral? And our buddy David's on, and he said it was just January a month ago. I know, David, right? Seriously.
It'll be January again next month. Yeah, time does fly. 2023 is just zipping right by. We're already heading into fall now, right?
Oh, it's great. Well, I'm pretty excited. But I loved what you were talking about in this whole thing. It's like no matter where you're at, no matter what experience you're having, it doesn't really matter. When we choose to be in full acceptance and appreciation of where life sits, knowing that it's working out for our best and highest good. And like earlier, I was talking about the cat and whether or not the kittens are going to stay. And like David said, we just want to, what is best for the kitties and for me? That's what will be.
Best possible outcome.
Best possible outcome. So there's two things, if anybody wants to type this into the chat. Best possible outcome, there's a tool for you. Instant, easy. Best possible outcome. That means no attachment to the outcome, please. If you're going to ask for the best possible outcome, that must be an open-ended, allowing experience versus best possible outcome, and it must be that the kitties stay.
Right. Yeah, that I understand intention, and intention is a valuable part of the process.
Absolutely.
But when we get overly intentional, and I was on the podcast earlier today, we were talking about this, and I love getting into these little geeky, aspects of Taya.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to say, but best possible outcome, and leave it there and really let the universe take over and whatever, there's no wrong. That's one of the reasons I don't go into trance channeling so much anymore, because we know we can predict what the stream is going to say, because the stream is source and we all channel source, and source is appreciation of all things. So there's no getting it wrong.
There is no getting it wrong.
If the cats are quote unquote stuck with you, then that's the outcome, and you're going to make it work, and so are they. And you're going to have your experience, and so are they. And we made the joke about the hawk, but that's a possible outcome that we judge with our ego. We don't want the cats to get eaten by a hawk.
Right.
And my comeback was, well, hawks got to eat too. What are you going to do? But in reality, that is how source views the earth. That is how source views everything. That there's no bad outcome. We view it as bad in our ego because we want to live a long life. We get attached to pets. We want them to live long lives. I was joking earlier about Lola's teeth, but I do pay attention to her health. And I tell the vet every time we go in that Lola and I have a deal that she's going to make it to at least 15. And I look at her right in the eye and I'm like, right, you're making it to at least 15. All my other pets have made it to 15. You're going to make it to 15. She's 7, so we're not quite halfway there. And I enjoy this dog and wish she could be with me forever, but I know that's not reality. And I just appreciate her every day, knowing that our relationship, like all relationships really, is time limited. Speaking of time limit, I have to share though, my 83-year-old father, did I tell you about this already?
No.
So my father's 83, lives in Austin. He's not in the best health. He's been in the hospital a few times in the last couple of years where we kind of thought that was it. And he bounces back. Well, when he was 74, he had he has Shelties, and he had a Sheltie one at a time. He had a Sheltie that passed away, and he was 74 years old. And so for his 75th birthday, I gave him a Sheltie puppy as his birthday gift.
Okay.
And I remember him saying, well, I want you to guarantee me that you'll take this dog if the dog outlives me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's fine. For some reason you and my stepmother can't take care of it. I'll take the dog. And so that dog just passed away a few months ago. Made it to 13 and a half. So my father, now into his 80s, without even talking to me at all this time, decided he was going to get a puppy. So 83 and not in great health, they went and got a Sheltie puppy. They bought a show quality Sheltie puppy this time. And, my siblings and I are all kind of like, WTF, what are you doing getting a dog at 83? And then my sister said he's so excited about it. I didn't have the heart to even ask. He's so excited about it. And so and he's texting, and he's not been in great health. And he's like a little kid. He's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to name the puppy? He's like so excited. So they went and got the puppy 2 days ago. And of course, the siblings and I all talked, and we're like, okay, if something happens, you can take him. If you can't take him, I'll take him. My cousin even chimed in that lives near them and said, so the dog is good no matter what. The dog is good. And so they get the puppy. The next morning, my father had to be rushed to the hospital, EMS, with COVID.
Oh.
It was like he just got the puppy. For one day, he had the puppy, and now he's back in the hospital. He's okay. That's why I'm smiling and laughing telling the story now. My dad's okay. He went to the hospital. He had COVID. He had a fever. It spiked. It's back to normal now. He's going home. Everything is going to be all right. But an 83-year-old, that's a whole best possible outcome scenario, that he's in that vibe now of, I'm 83. I want to have a puppy again. I'm just going to get a damn puppy. And it's very easy to be judgmental about that, as we were. But really, at the end of the day, the dog's going to be okay. The dog is going to be okay. And my stepmother's in great shape. My stepmother, is in fantastic shape. So she can have a dog. Why not? And if she gets to a point where she can't, then the dog will be cared for. We get really judgy about those things, don't we?
We get judgy about stuff. We wonder, how is that going to affect me? That's the thing, is that taking this opportunity to see what works best for your dad, what is going to make he's on this planet a lot less time than we are.
Yeah, if this dog is bringing
as far
joy
as we know,
at the end, whatever that looks like, or maybe it's 15 years.
Yeah.
My grandmother was one of those people that I remember in her 50s. I'm going to be dead soon. You better appreciate me. She lived to be 95. High blood pressure, diabetic, 95 years old. She made it to 95. So you just never know. You just never know. I can see my stepmother definitely doing that. So
Henri is as Henri does. I'm messing with the controls. They have touch up your appearance now. Oh, this is great.
Oh,
I'm having way too much fun here.
yeah,
Okay.
there's all kinds of stuff on StreamYard these
Oh,
days. It's gotten
this
a lot fancier.
yeah,
It's
got
a lot fancier. Much
lot
fancier.
so much fancier.
Yeah. So,
Acceptance.
best possible outcome is one thing. We need to share some tools while we're on with all of you. So, best possible outcome is a fantastic Taya tool.
Yeah.
Just I have found that manifesting anything, and everything's a manifestation. So, manifesting anything is all about finding the balance to be in harmony with the universe.
Mm,
And the universe isn't judging. The universe isn't saying you deserve this or don't deserve that. Obviously, we have no proof the
right.
universe judges. That's why life isn't quote unquote fair, because we get what we vibe, not what we want, obviously. And that wanting to manifest something and thinking best possible outcome, or what I like to say, I love the vibe of wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? That means I appreciate that. Wouldn't it be nice? What's something I want to manifest? A house on the ocean. We're talking about that a lot lately. We want a house on the ocean. Wouldn't it be nice to have a house on the ocean?
Wouldn't it be nice to have
That's
a house on the ocean?
different
I'm gonna join you on
than
that one.
I'm going to say 10 affirmations a day, and I'm going to put it on my vision board, and I'm going to meditate on it, and I'm going to do that. You start doing all of this stuff, and pretty soon you're trying too hard, and you're sending the universe a very clear message that I want this thing that isn't here. And the universe doesn't care whether you think you deserve it or not. The universe is saying yes to your vibration. Well, if you're really doing all those things and you're trying so hard, and you've probably done this, I know I have. A lot of people are affirmations about money every day, and the money never shows up. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you're wanting it so badly.
Yeah.
You're sending the vibe, you're sending a clear message. It's not here because I want it, or I'm trying too hard, or I'm reading books and I'm doing affirmations and I'm drinking the tea and I'm, doing all the stuff that I'm supposed to do, and it's still not happening. This works on every topic. It doesn't matter if it's money that you want, or health, or a specific situation, or love, or any of those things. It all works the same. When you want it really badly, you activate the vibration of need. So the way I describe that sweet spot is, wouldn't it be nice? And then learning how, by all of this detuning that we talk about, to be happy whether you have it or not. Because I did spend a good part of my life, a good part of my 30s, I spent manifesting material things and money,
Yeah.
because I grew up poor. I understood law
Mhm.
of attraction very early on, but I really used it in such a way, or utilized my knowledge in such a way, that I had a belief that rich was a certain kind of refrigerator, a certain kind of car, a certain size house. I always, we grew up really poor, so I always talked about the rich people stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember thinking that rich people were people that had the ice maker and the water in the door of their refrigerator. And then I got a little older and I saw a Sub-Zero refrigerator, and then that changed, and all of a sudden I had to have a Sub-Zero refrigerator. So when
Yeah.
I manifested the house that had the Sub-Zero refrigerator and the all the bells and whistles and all the shit that I thought, being happy was all about, and it was okay that I had it, I liked it, but I wasn't really happy. That was a huge turning point for me. And I realized all this stuff is great. I still like all that stuff today, but that's not what joy is. Joy is loving whatever is, whether you're up or down vibrationally. Joy is finding your way back when you break your leg, or when your house burns down, or when your partner leaves you, or when your job goes away, or when your
Yeah.
money plummets, or whatever it is, because we're all going to have those things. And what I have
That's
come to
right.
really appreciate is the value of all those experiences. The
Mm.
shit experiences where we spin out and things unravel and everything seems to be going wrong. That's where the good stuff is. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because I've had an experience now where I was able to meet catastrophe in appreciation. When the house burned last year in
Yep.
December, I authentically, not bullshit, pie in the sky, oh, I'm spiritual, I can't be upset by this. No, my authentic reaction was, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Yep.
We're gonna watch the
That
house.
was it.
We're gonna watch the house burn down from the driveway with the dog. We couldn't even back the car out because the
It was
fire hose was
bad.
behind the car. It was crazy, and
Ugh.
we're watching them like tear apart our brand new house. Oh well, here we go.
That was pretty much it, and that is what happened. The acceptance factor is so big to get to appreciation and to accept that things are the way they are. So often you say the reason you think it's because it should be different. That's what you say. You think, well, this should be different. Well, if you aren't thinking it should be different, then you're probably not going to have a problem accepting it. Our stinking thinking is the reason that we get stuck in places that we don't really want to be in. And the only way of changing it is choosing to get out of it. Um, One of the Taya tools that I think is most fascinating is the idea that you can do a low thought activity and get out of your own way. That you can choose to go for a walk. You can choose to iron your clothes like David loves to iron, or you can, or at least he did.
Actually, I love the cathartic quality of ironing. I hate to iron. Michael does that.
Okay.
Michael
Okay.
irons is therapy. My partner Michael,
Okay.
he loves to do that. I put the comment up here. I love that. When you're young and you're poor and you don't know that you're poor, you can be so content and you can hold on to that. For
Yeah.
me, I remember being young and poor, not knowing I was poor and being content in it to a point. And then when I got older and started getting exposed to other things and comparing, I created a lot of suffering for myself in my teenage years in that comparison. I wanted what the other kids had and I didn't have it. And
Yeah.
I let it wreck my teenage years. But again, that was part of my journey. So I don't look back and think my teen years were wasted. I don't think my 30s were wasted. Bad relationship, working in a job that I hated, 300 pounds, not particularly healthy. And I don't think that was wasted, though. I think I needed to do that and have that experience to go in the direction that I did in my 40s. I don't know that I would have explored and had the awakening that I had in my early 40s if I had not had that decade of my 30s. And that's just the time that it took for me to get there.
I resonate with that, and I'm sure that you all are resonating with this, that nothing is a waste of our time. That all of it brought us to the current moment present where you sit right now, no matter what. Our thought
Yeah, if you have
processes could
regrets,
change.
that's a transgressor that you can detune, and then
Yeah,
suddenly when you detune the judgment of the transgressor, the regret,
yeah,
as soon as you detune it, you start appreciating it. You in universal law, we put the cart before the horse always,
right.
because the matrix that we live in works opposite of universal law. You're not supposed to appreciate it until it's there. Well, we know that you've got to appreciate what isn't there sometimes for it to show up.
Yes.
So if you have something that you consider a transgressor, whether it's a person or a period of your life or an event or whatever, finding something to appreciate about it and building appreciation from there will detune it. It will make it no longer a transgressor for you, which is massive. And you will gain clarity ultimately on how it served you. And that's what's great. And then it's a gift. And then it's no longer a transgressor once you've come full circle with that. You'll realize
Yeah.
everything is a gift. I think a lot of people watching right now, I think we're preaching to the choir though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're
I mean,
preaching
they're
to the
all sitting
choir.
there like, we know all this. It's fun watching you, Jay, but we know all this stuff.
Well, we know it all, but people, yeah, we know how to do this. But the fact is we all get out of practice, and we
We
all
do. We
need a
fall off
reminder.
the wagon and we need a
And
reminder. That's what
ju-
we're here for.
just like there's no mistakes and everything should be the way it is, or it'd be different. Those watching, obviously, you need a reminder too, like us, because we're the ones that are speaking it, and apparently we needed it too, and that's why we talk about this stuff. Because since the day I started doing this type of work, everything that we talk about is always something I'm needing to hear personally. So I will just go ahead and receive all that.
A touch up, exactly.
Yes, we need a touch up.
We
Darn
need a
it!
touch up.
Can't we just get a touch? Well, this
That's great.
I want to talk about the attachments to the outcomes are some of it's your our attachment to anything, but especially an outcome, is the biggest disappointment. Our egos hate that. Our egos can't stand it. So, what if you could change that by choosing to, by seeing it differently, by choosing to appreciate the moment and accept whatever's coming? You know what you want, whether or not it's going to go exactly that way. You know what, David? One thing I know is when things haven't went my way or the way that I'd like them or the way that I thought, it was always way better than I ever anticipated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think about the disappointments I've had in my life, and every
Yeah,
single time I've been disappointed by something, something better
way
was
better,
was
way
coming.
better. Yeah,
Yeah, because
way better.
I never allowed myself to get stuck in disappointment. Disappointment was I knew enough, somehow I knew enough that disappointment was like a very temper I can't stay stuck in this energy because it's not serving me in any way. So I'm just going to move on from this, and something better is coming. And then it would.
Yeah.
And karma has proven itself. I believe karma and law of attraction are really the same thing. If you're going to put negative out, you're going to get negative back. And if you have experiences in your life, and I think we all do, where people have done things to you, and I've had things done to me that were not right at the time. And I was telling somebody this just the other night. I have had the lovely fortune of witnessing full circle karma on a couple of situations where I believe I got to witness it, and I was made aware of it because I didn't harbor the resentment and the anger and all of that stuff. I simply said, okay, this is fine. I've been screwed over. I'm not going to go in the victim space because I know that doesn't serve me. I'm going to move on. And there was a couple of major events in my life where somebody really put the screws to me, if you would. And I just chose to just move past it, not harbor resentment and anger and all of that, forgiveness, if you will, and just move on and not worry about it. And huge
big
karma for them. And I didn't even take any joy in it.
Yeah.
In fact, there was one that was so bad that I felt awful for the person. Even though they had really screwed me over, when it happened to them, it was so nasty. And I was in the room when it happened. And it was a business situation where someone got demoted right in front of me.
Oh, wow.
In a board meeting.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And all of their direct reports.
Oh,
it
my.
was just awful. And I felt awful. I just thought, I don't wish that on anyone. That's just nasty, awful, awful stuff. And then, a little time passed, you realize, wow, that was kind of like full karma for that situation. But I wouldn't wish it for them. But at the same time, just like we were talking about the cat and the hawk, who knows what that did for them? Maybe that set them somewhere totally different in their journey, and they're doing something totally different with their lives, and maybe realizing their karma.
Yeah. It's possible. And it's an interesting subject, really, because I can't name names, but I will tell you this, that I received a Facebook message from somebody making some financial accusations, if you will. David, it was so far-fetched, and I sat there and I had to sit with this. I am in so much gratitude for this person and the space we were in for a few months where we were beforehand, But however, when you talk about karmic debt, I went back in the messages because my memory tells me, and most of our memory isn't correct. So I just wanted to see, am I close on this or whatever, how we recall things. It's bits and pieces, and then we put it together, and it's not always exact as it went. In my heart, I was at so much peace. For one, the accusations were false. For two, I thought it was an amazing experience there. It was just time to leave for my own reasons, which were great because I had a house coming in Huntington Beach. There's a lot of ways I could look at the situation, and I chose to say nothing. You know how people can talk and people can say and they can do and they can whatever. Let them. Let them.
Well, yeah, I think
Let them have their thoughts and their
if you
belief
get a low
systems.
vibe communication from somebody, there's no mandate that you've got to engage with that.
And I want to tell everybody that I looked at the whole situation and I felt into it, and I said, and this is type this in the chat. Is this worth going down my spiral?
Well, and and try to, again, in that high vibration of appreciation of them, which would sound like what you did, where are they coming from? Get the clarity on that. And then you realize maybe they're just in a low vibe place, in a low vibe
They're just
moment.
in a bad place. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and if you have a situation that, time has passed and then they're coming back around later, I've had that too.
Yeah.
That's where they are vibrationally in the moment. And you know what I do when I see things like that? I'm like, oh, what's going on with me that I've got that going on in my inbox? Is there, maybe there's not, I don't know, but is there something? Is there something going on with me? And this is a lovely reflection of what's going on with me vibrationally, that I've pulled that back in.
Well, let me tell you about my ego. My ego was the person said namaste, and I thought, hold on, hold on. That was
They
how
kind of shit all
that
over
was
you in
the,
an email and ended with namaste.
it wasn't it was fucking that's how they started the message was namaste. And I'm all
Namaste. Now I'm going to accuse
namaste.
you of something.
Yeah, and I'm all and here I am thinking, oh, my last conversation was, hey, we mending the relationship because there's no reason that it's like the way it is. It's just ego. It's stupid because there should be no bad blood like this. And I sat there and I went, oh, and
That's
I'm
the
all,
West Coast equivalent of bless your heart in the
oh,
South.
just hold on now, namaste. And then I was all
Bless your
quick,
heart.
bless your heart. I was all quick to type out, I miss you because I do miss this person being in my life. And I put that, and the next thing that came was that wonderful expression of bullshit. And I went, I sat with that. And I just sat with that. And I just sat with that. You have to know your worth in life. And if something does not deserve somebody doesn't deserve your time nor your attention, then quit giving it.
Well,
And
it
and
doesn't matter who
especially
you
in
are.
this.
If you're sitting around harboring resentment, or you believe somebody owes you something and you keep focusing on that, you are creating your own reality, and you're going to create
Yeah.
more things like that. Better to let it go. That turn the other cheek thing. I don't quote the Bible, but I think that came from the Bible, right? Turn the other cheek. That's good advice. That's really good advice, because the
If
times that
somebody
I've done
slaps you,
that, that karmic thing ends up just taking care of the situation. And I will tell you too, I wasn't looking for that. I
right.
have never looked for karmic retribution for someone that's wronged me, but I've
Yeah.
received it anyway. And I think I've received it, the just the witnessing of it, because I wasn't looking for it.
I
And I
believe
will
you're
tell you, it
right.
wasn't. I know that it exists, and I like to share that story just as a story for people who are suffering and stuck in that I was wronged place,
Yeah,
because those things just work themselves out.
they
But
do.
I believe that they work themselves out because I didn't get in the way of all that by trying to. We aren't capable of producing karma for someone else, because you're just going to
Yeah.
end up creating a scenario for yourself of that energy if you try to do something like that.
I agree. You can't do that. That's not the thing to do. So let it go. Walk away. Somebody slaps you, turn the other cheek, let them slap the other one. Who
Well,
cares? Well,
the up and down journey of life is, you're going to get screwed over sometimes. You're going to get cheated on sometimes. You're going to be
gonna happen.
disrespected sometimes. And if you're worried about all of that crap, it's probably going to happen a lot more than if you aren't, because I don't worry about that stuff at all. And very rarely anything like that occurs in my life these days, because I don't even think about it. And if it does, then it's just, this is what we're doing now.
I agree with that. I want to say that there was something that came up in this whole little thing that happened after I typed the I miss you part. Like this was a friend that I thought was a friend of mine. What happened was with the message, old, like straggling old codependent strings kind of came up. I have a nurturing quality. I know this person. Like my heart's like, I don't want anybody hurting in this world, especially somebody you in your heart care about, even if you're estranged. Okay. So I really had to work through that too. My part of my not responding is part of my not giving in to those old codependent things that I used to do. Like I'm going to make everything okay, or I'm going to say this,
Yeah.
or I'm going to
Well, I mean,
say
if they're
that.
coming at
I'm
you
not
with that,
saying
there's no
shit.
response that's going to
There's
solve that.
nothing. There's no amount of emotional intelligence within the message I received. Why are they going to receive emotional intelligence back? The best thing to do is to do nothing. Let them talk. Let them say what they're going to say. Who cares?
Yeah.
Know your
Well, I mean, and
own
those of us like
self.
on TikTok, I'm putting a lot of stuff on TikTok these days. I'm loving TikTok. I'm getting lots of
He likes
good,
TikTok.
um, interaction on TikTok, and I love it.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, somebody will really be offended by something that I'm putting on TikTok, because a lot of it has to do with taking responsibility for everything in your life. A lot of people don't want to hear that. So sometimes I'll get some pushback. But the other day I got pushback because I referenced channeling Source, and they were very offended that I referenced that I claimed that I channel Source.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because they started the message, instead of just being a total troll, they said, I appreciate that you're trying to help people, but you're claiming that you channel source, and that's nobody channels source. That's BS. Who are you to say that you channel source? And I was like, okay, I didn't, my belief is that we all channel source. So my response was, well, if you detune your ego and quiet your mind, you will know what source wants too.
Right.
And you won't need to call BS on people anymore. It was like the perfect response. And then before I hit send, I caught myself and realized that's not source channeling that. That's my damn ego
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
perfect comeback. I got the perfect comeback. I'm going to, yeah, I just deleted the whole thing. I'm like, no,
That's
I
your
don't need to
and
be
well or
engaged
good.
in this way. But I
Yeah.
mean, that was kind of what came out. It was good, but it wasn't
Mm.
of source. It was still of ego. But I don't need to teach that person a lesson. That's not my job to do that.
Not
They
your
said what they said. It
job.
doesn't matter. Leave it alone. Let the comment lie, and let the other people have whatever conversation around that they want. And after that initial moment. But sometimes if you judge something, and that's when you catch yourself judging it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was so subtle though, because I wasn't offended, and I wasn't even angry.
Right.
But I remember reading that, and then I had the perfect zinger, and the perfect zinger is not coming from the highest vibration. We
So,
talked about subtlety, right? And little nuanced, vibrations
yeah.
and responses. And, it took me a minute to catch myself before I posted that, because I'm like, I didn't post it. Because I had to really catch myself, because I wasn't angry.
Right.
I wasn't, oh, I'm going to get you. It wasn't like that at all, but it still wasn't the highest vibration.
See, that's the thing. When we think if you think you've got one up, you just went 2 steps down. And remember
That's a good
that.
one. Yeah, that's a very good.
So,
Yeah, the
and
one up
yeah,
is all ego. That's 100% ego, and you need to,
you went what?
zing somebody or one up them, or
God, it
yeah.
reminds me that's like Joe and I arguing. Jesus criminy, man. The one upper. Have you ever had an argument with your spouse and it's just a one upper game? And your one up is 2 steps down because they're about to come, it's just a ping, ping, ping.
Thankfully, that was like 2 relationships ago for me that I would do stuff like that. But yeah,
I've gotten childish in this relationship too when I'm not feeling good and I'm a complete and utter bitch because I'm like, oh, it's terrible. I get to have come to Jesus with myself because you said something just a little bit ago that is the most key thing that has been said, almost one of the most key things that have been said throughout this entire episode. And that is taking accountability and responsibility for yourself and not blaming anyone else. But my daddy did it.
yeah, that's not, yeah.
My mama did it, but my hoo did it. My
Yeah,
hoo.
I've never bought into that, because I will tell you that I was raised by a grandmother and a mother who were very racist, small town South. And as a
Yeah,
little kid, I never bought into that.
good.
I just never, and I'm saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but I was a little kid. I remember thinking that doesn't gel with everything that you're talking about at church at all.
At
At
all.
all. So, what's the disconnect here? Why are we saying this at church, and then we're, and and people at church were saying things like that, in that environment. So why are we saying this, and then over here we're saying that? That hypocrisy at 6, 7 years old did not sit with me.
That's right. It didn't say, it was funny because
So you don't get to use your upbringing as an excuse,
you
not for
can't.
very long, because you can
Well,
detune all that shit even if you did pick it up.
well, the thing about it is I'm just gonna say it like this. My mom told me I was a princess growing up, and that's no shit. My beautiful daughter, my princess, I love you. And I don't understand. Like I grew up was like 18 or 19, and then I got married and couldn't figure out why Wayne wasn't seeing that I'm a princess.
Yeah, didn't he get the memo?
You didn't,
Didn't the rest of the
mommy,
world get the memo?
mommy, you didn't give the memo. My point is, y'all need to grow up. That's it. Just grow up. It's like we grow up in the right places, though. You don't have to grow up in the way that the Matrix told you. You grow up in the way of taking responsibility and accountability for the fact that you're a princess or a prince. So just own that. If somebody else doesn't realize it, who cares?
Well, it goes right back to the theme of the night is this sweet spot, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
tell your kid they're a piece of crap and they're worthless, which is what I grew up hearing. But you also don't want to go all the way over here to making them believe that they're so special, that they're better than everyone else and untouchable, and that the whole world,
Well, then you're just creating a narcissist.
right. And there's a lot of, scuttlebutt about that in parenting these days, is that the Gen Xers were raised by the baby boomers who,
Yeah.
somebody was telling a joke the other day about our parents. They had that warning that came on at 10 o'clock at night. Do you know where your kids are? And the comedian was like, they had to remind them that they had kids. They couldn't care less that they had kids.
We
So
were in
that's
bed
how
at
we were
6 o'clock.
raised.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
my
in
mother
bed at
didn't care that it
six
was 10
o'clock.
o'clock. I could be out till midnight. She didn't give
Oh,
a
I
shit.
wasn't allowed to be out till midnight. I had to be in. I was in bed 7 o'clock until I was like in
Really?
high school.
Oh, I could. God, by high school, I was out all night. I would
Well,
steal my mother's car. We would get drunk in my mother's car.
oh
Drive
no,
around high
I
school.
would sneak out of the house.
I had the best
But,
childhood because I had zero supervision
zero
as
supervision.
zero supervision as a child. I'm surprised that I'm alive at this
I
point.
had too much supervision. I had too much supervision.
I had zero supervision, and it was a glorious childhood from that aspect.
I freaking
But
love it.
I think that we overcompensate, and now I see and I'm not a parent, so I'm not trying to judge parenting, but it does seem like our parenting and the children that Gen Xers are raised very opposite of that. Very much the childhood is very structured now, and certainly they are taught to think very highly of themselves, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But then you get out into the real world, though, and are they going to be able to function in the real world that doesn't necessarily think they're a princess? That's the thing.
Well,
So
that's
it's
what I'm saying. You got
that
to grow.
sweet spot of, I think you're a princess, but just so you know, no one else is going to think this.
But
Not your husband, not your mother-in-law, not your employer. No one else is going to think this, but I do. So there you go.
But Mama told me never worked for me. Ever. The hell.
That's funny. Well, guess what? We made it to an hour, and now we're past an hour. And I'll show the last post here. Oldest of 6.
Never had any of that.
Oh, that's funny. Well, it's funny. We talk about that a lot, how siblings can grow up in the same household and have completely different. It just shows you how different we are vibrationally, and how we all create our own bubble of reality.
Yeah.
Because we can. My brother and I grew up in the same household and have definite opposite views of our mother's parenting. Absolutely. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for watching live. It was a lot of fun. Thank you all for commenting and being involved. We appreciate that. We are here almost every Thursday night. Wherever you're watching us now, we are every Thursday live, almost every Thursday live at 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
With a fantastic Debbie G. Thank you so much. Glad you're doing
Rock
so much.
on. Woo!
See you all soon. And don't forget, Stream of David podcast, the Taya Practice podcast. Debbie's going to be a podcast guest real soon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So check them out. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.